All right. Well, it didn't go black. uh,
We're both like, cheers.
All right. Hello. Welcome. Hi, Brandi. Thank you for joining. Hi.
Great to be here.
Yeah. So my name is Polyannie. Um, I am the NFT content manager with xxXNifty and also an adult NFT creator. I am here today with Brandi Love, the adult star, and we are going to be talking about NFTs, cryptocurrency, the future of the adult industry. So it's really great to have you here. Just like one more, quick little bit about xxXNifty, and then we'll get right into the interview. So xxXNifty is an NFT marketplace for exclusive and unique adult NFTs. And we have been making the adult NFTs since April of this year with over 100 NFT sales. So there's definitely, a speeding up of momentum for adult content in the NFT space. But we're mostly here to kind of get to know Brandi a little bit more and hear about, just your perspectives about all of this. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. First question is, how did you get into the adult industry? So maybe you could give us like a little background and a little history.
It was about 17 and a half years ago or so, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. Both my husband and I were in corporate America doing our thing. Decided we're both very entrepreneurial from the day we met. So we always wanted to start our own company. And right around 2003, we developed this wine label business. It was basically greeting cards for wine bottles. We loved wine even back then. We were gifting it and receiving it. And you pull a bottle and be like, this is amazing wine. I don't know who to thank, because you don't know who it was from. So we created these labels that would go on the back of a bottle, whether it was for birthday or whatever. It was a really cool concept. We were very proud of it. And we took it to market and needed a website. Again, this was late 2003. Didn't know the first thing about technology. In some ways, I still don't. But we hired these people to develop our website for us. And in very short order, we had this crazy conversation that just went something like, hey, have you two ever thought about doing something in the adult realm? And we're like, do you mean porn? And they were, well, yeah. I don't know what it is about the two of us, but people will say the darndest things. Well, now that it's out there, I'm like a business? Like, that's a business? That's how naive I was. We watched it. We enjoyed adult entertainment together for years, but I was a consumer. I never saw it as a business, which is so hilarious now. So we go home and we can't get it out of our head. We just keep thinking, okay, this would be really, really fun. Not that we don't love what we're doing, but let's do some research. We put together a pro forma. We put together a business plan. That's just kind of how we are. And we literally sat there and looked at the current business and the adult business, and went, yep, we're doing this. And it literally was a conversation about, this is back when the solo model site was huge. We're talking about, well, we're going to invest all this money and develop this website. Who's the model? And I kind of went, I'll do it. And it went from I'll do it to I want to do it. I think this would be really fun. It sounds super liberating. We're kind of wild. At least what we thought was wild back then. And I said, let's just share it and see what happens. And literally my husband's jaw dropped. He's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, do you know what you're saying? Everyone's going to know. Very naively, I'm like, no, I won't. There's thousands of people that do this. It'll just be fun. It'll be like a hobby. And he begged to differ, and I still said, okay, even if it is, let's do it. I want to do it. And that literally was the beginning of BrandiLove.com.
That is fantastic. That's cool. So was it as liberating? And I mean, I'm guessing you kept doing it. So
more so than I could have ever imagined, to be honest with you. And those who know me really well know that I have a little bit of a rebellious streak, and I can be quite stubborn. So it was almost like the more people that would send me crazy emails or would become condescending about it or tell me I'm going to hell or whatever, the more I dug in and was like, I have every right as a free American to do this legal business. Damn it. And I took that and I didn't get mad about it. I had my moments, but I just said, no, this is all the more reason I want to do this, because I can, and because it's one of the options, right? So there were those years where some of it was just pure stubbornness, and the other part was just part of who I am. I love what I do.
yeah, and thank you so much for being stubborn and keep pushing through, because we do have that right, consenting adults to be able to make a business, doing whatever they like,
Exactly.
with other consenting adults. And
Exactly.
yeah, so thank you for pushing forward, because that's, that's what it's going to take is, people kind of pioneering and being like, well, fighting
In many
for
ways,
it.
Larry Flint started the fight, and there's so many of us who just continue it. Like, I'll forever love and respect him for what he did for the adult industry and continuing to fight for his freedoms to do what he did. So we're just marching forward.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so yeah, next question is, what's one thing you'd like to tell your fans about you that they don't already know about you?
17 years in the public eye, there's probably very little that people don't know about me. I'm pretty transparent. But one of the things that doesn't get talked about is many know that my great grandfather is Jesse Livermore, the great bear of Wall Street. But people don't know that my great grandmother was a Ziegfeld girl, which was a showgirl in Broadway. So, she should get her kudos. But the funny part about all of that is it kind of tells you that my love for entertainment and maybe some infamy, I come by it honestly.
Nice.
Yeah. And the fact that I'm a coleslaw fanatic. Maybe it's my Midwestern upbringing, but man, I freaking love coleslaw.
I feel you on that. All different kinds of coleslaw too. There is so much you can do with it.
Oh my God, I know. And you can get so used to one, and then somebody says, well, this is Southern style, or this is vinegar style, or this is with mayonnaise. And I'm like, there's only one right way, but I'll try them all. And it's like mind blown. They're all so good.
So what's the right way? What's your best one?
Well, for me, it's I grew up in Michigan, and man, Michigan summers, barbecues outside, you always had potato salad and you always had coleslaw. And the coleslaw that I love the best is more on the mayonnaise and a tad sweet, not too thick or runny. There's just this perfect sweet spot.
Yes, I like it. I like a coleslaw that's not too runny. I don't like it soupy.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, so let's get back into the adult industry talk. Where do you see the adult industry going in the future? Having been in 17 years over, what do you see?
Well, like every business, it's constantly evolving. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that just a handful of years ago, I would buy records in a record store or sleep outside waiting for tickets in front of a Ticketmaster brick and mortar. Like, those concepts now are like, you did what? And yet it really wasn't that long ago. So just like every other industry, the adult industry is going to continue to forge ahead and evolve. And, with the OnlyFans experience, there have been other things, of course, but currently everyone's been seeing that the delivery, the experience, and the processing of adult content has already changed dramatically. I don't believe personally that pro scenes are going away. However, this new evolved adult atmosphere that we're currently working in, I don't believe that that's ever going to go away either, that we're only going to continue from there. I don't believe at all that the pro scenes are going to move away. This is just an addition to. OnlyFans, in my opinion, and there's other platforms similar to it, it's changed the relationship between fans and and the star. The premium is now what I'm seeing being paid for the connection versus the content. Content will always be important. It will always be important. But never before have fans had the access, nor the stars have the access to one-on-one conversations and things of that nature with their fans.
Yes. Yes. And what I see as well is with sites like OnlyFans, with, like the digital and the virtual worlds, it gives more people an outlet to express their sexuality and to connect. And so what we're seeing is a more diverse expression, which I think is very good for a healthy society, to see all kinds of body types, orientations, fetishes, like there's always somebody that's going to connect with someone, no matter how weird you might, feel. And I think that's good.
That's very true. And there's a thing that I personally would like to see. I as far as the processing, again, we're a legitimate business. I'm looking forward to the day when the adult industry is more cohesive and works together to get things done. Why are we always the scapegoat? We're always utilized for certain things and then basically pushed away and gone, thanks for the traffic, we're good now. But we're strong enough if we're willing to unite and do things like, why don't we talk to the banks and solidify processing so that there aren't these concerns? If there are legitimate issues, let's deal with them and move forward. That would be a huge strive, in my opinion, because we're constantly relying on others to, oh, will you please let us stay? And yeah, so we're in this limbo, right? Well, if we took the reign and forged these relationships, maybe that wouldn't be an issue.
Yes, I love that. And it's like, yes, there's always a solution, and if we can't get the politicians and the banks, to cooperate, then like you're saying, banding together to, solve the problems, because there's always a solution. And I believe in 2021, we have the tech and we're able to mobilize and organize in such a way.
I totally agree with you. I just, again, with my 17 years experience, I'd like to say that through the years, I've seen more cohesiveness. However, I've seen the exact opposite. And as we're seeing in the world today, if people are divided, they're very easy to conquer. So if there's one thing that, I'd like to see change, not just in the adult industry, everywhere, but remember the word united. There's a lot more strength in that capacity than if everybody's flailing about, hush, hush, and doing their thing and not looking out for the back of their neighbor. That's a big one for me. And you can see what's happening.
Yeah, I like that a lot. The unitedness. And that really kind of ties in with a lot of these crypto projects and communities too. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. And actually that leads right to our next question is, have you ever invested in cryptocurrencies? And do you see the adult industry becoming more involved with cryptocurrency in the future?
I think we're seeing it even now. To answer the first question is yes. And you're probably going to laugh. Yes, we're invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum as of now, but I'll also have to be honest and tell you that I don't really know why. What I mean by that is I am very old school, and I can get stubborn in my ways, but I'm also able, it's that fine line. Like, you can see the pros and cons of both things. We're always moving ahead, like we talked about, and evolving. But then there's the other side where you're like, there might be a dark side or things that we don't know are coming up. So seeing that crypto was, it blew up. It came out on the scenes. Everybody's talking about it. And it had a great, or I should say, an interesting intent. Okay. It's this unique form of payment. It's protected. It's anonymous. It's protected, blah, blah, blah. And then the other side of me says, okay, what government's going to allow this to continue to be decentralized and untapped into, anonymous, untaxed? And so you got, again, the devil and angel going, okay, this is happening now and it's got a purpose and it's great. It's not being shut down. It's growing. And yet no one's going to harm themselves in the growth. I mean, the second quarter was like, what, $2.3 billion? So that's not happening on accident. Nobody's stopping it and it continues to grow. But then the other side of us has to say, really? Is the government going to allow this currency to go on untaxed and anonymous? So there's a piece of me that gets concerned that it could be potentially government centralized. And then the whole purpose of crypto is gone and every penny's traced. So that's that whole where I find myself, because I don't have the knowledge of some people who got in early and understand every capacity, that I'm kind of going, yeah, I got to invest because it's a thing, it's happening. And then the other side's going, oh, I don't know. There's a dark side to where this could potentially go.
Yeah, I always thought it was interesting that that the government is just now talking about regulations, and I'm like, Bitcoin happened like 10 years ago at least, and it's
Right.
like they're just now paying attention to this. Like, either a lot of different reasons that could be. Maybe they didn't take it seriously, but it is, the centralization versus decentralization is such a tricky thing, because it's going to be hard to have a completely decentralized anything. Like you said, like at some point, there's going to have to be like some regulations or some sort of parameters and things like that. So I guess, it's really a matter of finding how do we, approach a decentralized system in such a way where it can allow maybe levels of centralization. But again, it's still so new and early, and hopefully, they can come up with good regulations so that it's something that can continue, because it has been beneficial to many people in the world. So, and then other
countries, and people like you who you truly understand and can play from this realm into the Coinbase, into the Bitcoin and Ethereum levels. It's really fun to watch. I don't totally get it, but it's fun to talk to and watch people who truly understand it. And it is making a lot of people a lot of money. The other side is that concern of, okay, now everybody has a coin. And I'm not even going to say some of the names. You probably know them. It's a little absurd. Like, I can't even imagine buying something with the name that some people have come up with. And the other concern with all of those, there are going to be plenty that fall off and fail, and that will lower the confidence of individuals who attempted to purchase it, right? So again, I'm with you. It'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be a rocky road, a little bit of a roller coaster, but I think it's also going to continue to go up.
Yeah, one thing that I look for in a cryptocurrency is its utility. Like, for me, a good cryptocurrency is something that does more than is just an investment. But like, it's a potential to make money, but it also serves another purpose. Like xxNifty NFT marketplace, they use the NSFW token. You can buy NFTs with the NSFW token. So there's a greater utility to some of these tokens. And I think that kind of safeguards them from some of like the market volatility. And like, if the price of the token goes way down because the market drops, but there's still enough people in the community that use the tokens for their intended purposes, then you're not going to get as much sell off, because those tokens actually do something more than just hold that value.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's going to be like more of the future, I think, of a lot of cryptocurrencies, is more of like their utility, what they can actually do. I mean, still, it's going to be a lot of investing and people trying to make a lot of money. I think we'll see more utility. All right. Have you ever thought about doing adult NFT content?
Absolutely, 100%. I think it's a very exciting concept. And I don't know if this is interesting or common, but I don't necessarily see the NFT and crypto being exclusive of one another. I'm very excited about the NFT concept of being wrapped in technology that protects its rarity and its value. But at this point, I'm also like, well, you should be able to use a credit card to purchase it. And part of that is because I think a huge part of my fan base is potentially a lot more like me, in that what you were talking about, I've invested in it, but I didn't buy it to spend it. I don't even know, and you can laugh at me, it's cool. I laugh at myself. I don't even know if I would know how to spend it. So yes, I'm invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I've never spent a penny. I've invested. It's an investment, not a spending currency. And I think that might be a majority, other than like the crypto communities you're talking about. You guys get it. You get what you're doing. You buy, sell, trade. That's so cool. But I think there's still a huge percentage of the population who knows how to invest in it. But a crypto wallet, No joke. I watched my husband go through trying to set that up. I myself spent 40 minutes on it. And by the time, if it were an adult thing I wanted, by the time I actually figured out how to set up my wallet, the boner would be gone. I'd be like, yeah. Now, I do think that that's going to be changing. I'm learning day by day, but I still think that there's got to be, or the most beneficial right now would be, you can pay in crypto, you can pay in credit card, or what are all these different ways to purchase.
Yeah, that was, one of the biggest obstacles for me when I started making NFTs was how to get my supporters to actually buy them, the people who wanted to buy them. And it was harder than it seemed. I even did live streams and like, let me help you set up your wallet. But
that's helpful. That's good.
Yeah, a lot changes fast though in the space. And so a year ago, it was so much more of a pain in the ass to even like get a crypto wallet than it is today. And I think that ease then the user, ease getting people onboarded into the systems is going to get easier, as we go along. And it is still kind of new and it can be a lot of clunking around. I know I've spent like 2 whole days trying to perform, buy a certain crypto once. And I'm like, this is not going to make
you have
hard.
patience. You have patience.
Oh, yeah,
that's not one of my strong suits. I'm like, forget it.
But the thing with NFTs is it's not really an alternative to like viewing content. So it wouldn't be the kind of thing that you would want to like buy, if you're just trying to, take care of yourself or have that time. It's more of the kind of thing for like connecting with the creator. And it's an alternative and an additional way for creators to monetize from their work. So I look at my NFTs as like capturing my best work. I wouldn't mint everything, that I do as an NFT. I would really save it for the very special pieces of content. Like example, I have an OnlyFans account and I have thousands of photos and videos on there. And some of them are super spectacular, right? But they're in the feed all the same, or maybe they're, behind a paywall. But with NFTs, it kind of gives the creators a chance to like take those best of moments and make them into like digital collectibles that their fans can then, invest in and hold. And we found that a lot of people are buying NFTs more for like sentimental reasons and to support have that connection rather than making a profit from them, which
I'm super excited about the NFT concept because I don't want to just take a photo or video and wrap it and call it NFT. I, like you, I'm excited to tap back into my creative side and do things. And after 17 years of the industry, to go, what haven't I done? It can get like daunting. Like, what can I do and I have a list this long. Once I started thinking outside of the box, is when you've done something for a really long time, I love it every bit today as I did then. But not every day is new and different, right? Oh, you're playing a stepmom. Got it. You can fill in the blanks, or I'm playing the boss, or I'm playing the principal. It's me as those things. I'm not a great actress, but I can relate to those roles. Then you get back into, something rare and valuable that my fans would really love. And you get to go to these places where you can get ultra creative. And at the end of the day, I've already created a few that I'm waiting to put my finishing touches on. You go, okay, that's cool. I mean, that is art. And it's really fun to play around and dabble in this. And I can thank NFTs for that.
Yes, I hear that from a lot of our creators. They definitely express how happy they are to be able to touch and tap into that creative side and, explore photo editing and other art forms and things. So it seems to be like invigorating and revitalizing,
Inspiring, absolutely.
All right. So do you prefer creating more standard traditional adult content or more like independent content like you would see on OnlyFans?
Well, those who know me probably know how I'm going to answer this. I'm a variety girl. I love both, and there's a place for both. If there's one thing I am, it's transparent and honest, and not always for a good thing. It's probably not a very popular thing to say, but shooting the proceeds is probably the least, well, for me, it's the least profitable endeavor that I'm involved in. That's just a reality. And it's not even close. And people would say, well, why do you do it? I love it. I don't care whether you're a man or a woman, to sit in a chair and have your hair and makeup done, work with professional actors and actresses, to work with professional photographers, professional editors, professional marketers, and to have this film of you that's put out where you look the best you can because of whom you were working with, and have an orgasm. Why wouldn't I continue to shoot pro scenes? I'm not joking. Like, for me, I really do still enjoy the whole process of shooting the pro scenes. But between expenses to fly out there and everything else that's involved, it's not the most profitable. I'll still always do it. Then you have the content creation, where between my Fan Soda, my OnlyFans, and my Model Central account that I'm currently diversifying into, the raw, how I have sex day to day, unedited, that's super hot and fun, and provides another again, another way to know us, as if you don't know us already. But the individual content creation, again, I have to say it, it's the content's hot and fun, but again, it's about the connection, the ability to communicate with my fans on those platforms that provide this ability to correspond the way that we do. And that's been amazing. The things that I've learned from my fans, I have a huge active military and vet fan base that, I'm not a psychologist, but there's a reason there's a hashtag 22 a day. And to be able to connect with them and converse with them and just be an ear of somebody who loves and respects them. And that goes to everybody, not just our military, whom I love, but people think it's all porn. There are conversations that have changed my life, have inspired me, have made me cry, have made me laugh. And by your nodding, I have a feeling you understand what I'm talking about. It's opened up this whole new world of ability to communicate. And again, I love both. I don't anticipate dropping one for the other.
Yeah, good. A great answer. I'm all about the diversity and the variety and the way, that we monetize and the way we present our work. And it just makes life more fun too.
It's true. Like, you can take off one hat and put on another one. And that is that variety thing in me. I love that. One day you're writing articles, one day you're live on your OnlyFans, one day you're creating content on your cell phone. And then the next weekend you're out in Vegas shooting pro scenes. For me and my personality, it's always exciting. The adult industry for me is always exciting.
That's great. Sorry, I lost my train. There was another question I wanted to ask in there. That's okay.
It'll come back. Yeah, it'll come back.
It'll come back. OnlyFans. So let's talk a little bit about OnlyFans. They recently announced that they were banning all sexual content on their platform. Then a few days later, they put a suspension on that ban. From what you've seen, how are adult content creators reacting to this?
I don't know how it affected you. I can imagine, like me, I have a whole head of gray hair from a 48-hour experience with OnlyFans announcements. There were a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of panic, and maybe not panic for what people think. For me, there was that immediate, if this is cut off, I might have to lay off 3 or 4 people that I work with. And these are people that I care about. They're kind people who have spouses and children, and I could potentially have to make the decision to end their form of income. And then number 2 is the whole, well, wait a minute, what happens to the fans? They've purchased content that I've created, and I understand the back end of OnlyFans. So what happens to my fans? Is this going to create a discord between me and my fans, or mistrust? So I had that all going on in my head. And then, of course, you realize, oh my God, my income is going to tank. So all 3 of those things happened like simultaneously. And that first 24 hours, I don't think we slept. There was fear, there was concern. And unfortunately, this isn't the first time. Again, that whole, hey, adult industry, thanks for the traffic. It was fun knowing you. And then you get chucked out. Many of us who've been in the industry more than 5 years, we have felt this pattern. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. That said, I don't know what other entertainers have chosen to do, but me personally, there's the word again, I am diversifying. It's not good to have all your cookies in one jar. I'm venturing out a little bit. I'm recreating my fan centro. I am staying on OnlyFans, and we're all fingers crossed that they leave us alone and allow us to be, as they say, they're inclusive. Let's hope that that is a true statement and that we can continue. It's a great platform. But also with my meat brandy with Fan Soda, I'm now going to have, it means more work, which is totally cool. I have no issue with working, but I'll have 3 platforms, similar but different. They all have their little things that make them unique. And for me, I'm going to let the fans decide. I'm going to let the fans pick which platform they like best. And in the meantime, I just, instead of having 1 laptop, I have 3.
It's brilliant. Again, the diversifying, it's really a good play and a good call. And I begun diversifying about a year ago when I got into cryptocurrency. I was kind of nudged by, I was dealing with a lot of censorship, had some big accounts removed, which always happens. And then somebody kind of nudged me towards crypto and NFTs, you know, just being like, you could put your content up, you know, on this like crypto enabled blogging site. There's no censorship there. Nobody's going to take your stuff down, and you can earn tips in crypto. And so that's how it kind of started for me. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, getting into the NFT thing, in my first 5 months of making NFTs, I like far surpassed like what I had made in the whole previous year in
That's
5
crazy.
months.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
it was like, and then, you know, even crazier than that is the first 5 months, I gave away 70% of what I had earned to help other artists in the community to, you know, get people into crypto. I'd help, you know, people get crypto wallets, and then I'd send them some to get started. And so most of that went right back out. But because of the volatility of crypto, I still had like as much money, you know, as I had started with. I didn't lose anything. And that was one of the big things that really sold it for me, is like, there's an opportunity here for me to be generous and for me to help, you know, build up others as well without it hurting my own livelihood. So
that's awesome. If there were more people like you, that whole word united would come back in. And I'm a firm believer in what you just said, is that the more we support one another, lift one another up, and, you know, congratulate others when they are successful, instead of going, wow, and try to, you know, smash each other down, we would be a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion. We are a very important sector of entertainment. I mean, people can say they don't watch, people can say they don't partake, or that they don't like it, or this or that, but the numbers would say otherwise. So there's that. And I don't know, I guess I'm an idealist in the sense that I love the industry that I work in. But after 17 years, I've seen that there's not much that's united. Unfortunately, it can be very divisive within our own. And that's a shame. I'm going to always continue to hope that that changes, so that we can see real change within the industry and the way that mainstream, if you will, deals with us. When we act legit, and are prepared and do things like we talked about earlier, talk to the banks and manage our own processing. When there's an issue, deal with it head on, instead of relying on all these third parties to govern us, if you will. It would be a good time. It would be amazing.
Yeah. So what kind of things, like, what would it take to unite the industry? What do you think?
There's the $1 million question. I wish I understood, because I'm also not saying that this is a unique thing to the adult industry. I think it's an entertainment industry. I listen to like Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had a
I love him.
I do. I love him. I was listening to a conversation between him and another comedian, and they were describing what happens within the comedian family, if you will, how when one's super successful, you'll have others come and just want to just take you down a few notches. And it surprised me a little bit. I don't know why, but it did. I thought it was just us. No. It's a human nature issue. And I don't know how to fix that. I wish I could say I did, but the only way I can do it is try to be an example and try not to do the very things that I see others doing that are negative. but just try to focus on the positive.
That's a good place to start for sure. I know in the xxNifty community, we've started kind of like little subgroups, like in Telegram, we have these Telegram, which are like group chats.
Right.
And we have a group that's for the creators. And it's a place where all the creators can go and share ideas and connect and build each other up. And so what we're really trying to do is create like a culture of support and positivity and mutual, like respect and growth. It's like if we all kind of work together, like we can actually all be way more successful. So
I completely agree with you. And in a way, you just answered the very question you gave me. You literally are practicing what we're discussing, and you're seeing it works. I mean, it really is awesome. And that was my biggest thing with OnlyFans is I truly loved I'm still on it. The platform and the way that we're able to communicate, upload content, all of it is really, really great. And think of the number of people who during the pandemic went from losing their jobs, were worried about how they're going to pay their mortgage or their rent or gas for their car, and chose OnlyFans and created a life that they never knew they had. I mean, it's insane. Like all of a sudden they're making money, they're independent, they're strong. And we should all, this was what bothered me so bad when OnlyFans did that. I'm like, do you realize the number of people you're taking food out of their mouths? And they're doing it by choice. They're consenting adults. They're using the platform to give themselves a better life. So yeah, it's we got to look out for each other. And I think it's great. I love hearing that within the crypto communities, you guys are starting to do that.
Yeah, and we're really trying to stand strong and just set that culture and set that example. And to go back to like, the question was about OnlyFans and how the creators are reacting to it. And like the vulnerabilities, like you were just saying, if I wasn't already into crypto and had some like saved up and invested, like that, like I make my whole income comes from my OnlyFans. Like it's completely devastating. And I went through that whole process. I'm like, well, what about my fans? How am I gonna, make sure that they can stay with me? And the special content that they bought, what happens with that? And it's so much work. And like, at first you kind of get bombarded with all these sites, like, come join us here, come join us there. And I'm like, well, be easy. Like, this is a big decision. It takes a lot to build up a new profile. It's not like a quick decision, that's just made like, oh, I'm just going to move over to this other platform. It's like, there's a lot of factors that kind of go involved. And yeah, I would really like to see a future where creators of all kinds, especially adult creators, but all the people who don't have to have that vulnerability, where at any point, an outside force can just decide that you're losing your job, and not just that, but also taking away access to your community and your work. Like, to me, like, my videos and my content, that's documentation of a very important part of the human experience. And I don't think it should be up to like, a third party to decide that isn't allowed on the internet.
Completely agree. And again, in a unified manner, when, with the OnlyFans thing, they said it was banking or it was this. The thing that I struggled with is anytime a narrative changes every single day, and every day there, it's been spun a different way, we're left to go, I don't have a clue what's going on. And then I also heard, which has happened many a times, which is the religious zealots on the right will come and knock in and try to force politicians or banks or investors or whomever to do away with us because it's a morality issue. And again, if we unite and fight back against that, because morality is not legislated, thank God. They don't have the right to take away our freedom to do what it is that we do. However, one person yelling and screaming because it's happening to them is a lot different than an entire industry going, oh, no, it's not just her or it's not just him. We're with them. We're fighting against it. When that happens, I think that those loud voices over on the fringes are going to be shut down.
Yeah, I like that. I think you're really onto something with that. And I think like as blockchain technology allows for more perspectives to be documented, and for people, where was I going with this? For people to kind of band together in that way. So that's why, like, when we talk about crypto communities, there's such a strong, like, sense of, like, freedom, decentralization, the building, of community and taking care of everybody. And so it kind of like reflects out even from the tech itself, which kind of provides its own sort of protections. And so we have the tools now that we can build the things that we want. And when we first started doing the adult NFT thing, which was our early spring this year, before early spring, there was no adult NFT marketplaces. There were marketplaces that allowed adult content.
Right.
But even those were coming up like with issues where pieces were getting removed. And so nobody wanted to deal with adult, right? Like, that's kind of how it goes. It's like, oh, we'll allow it for now, I guess, So the need for places for this kind of work has really emerged. But what I was so excited about was like, you guys, we have the tools to build what we want. And we can do it the way we want it. And we can do, address all the problems. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like having to take a huge platform like OnlyFans and try to roll out changes, but we can address the problems at the core and kind of build better systems around it.
That's smart.
Yeah. It's a unique opportunity. It's a really cool time, to be, alive and, doing this work. It's all right. So let's keep on going. This is, right on in alignment with the OnlyFans stuff. Mm-hmm. But do you think adult content creators have lost faith in OnlyFans? And what platform do you see most creators moving to next?
I would say, like we mentioned prior, I don't know what other models are doing. I've had conversations. Again, this is kind of like we're not necessarily unified. I respect everybody's individuality, but we don't really decide, okay, as a group, let's go over here. I listen to everything. I try to assess and make the best move. I am hopeful that OnlyFans will endure. I am going to take them at their word, both from protecting the fans and protecting me and protecting the relationship between me and my fans. And I am going to continue to do what I do there for sure. And like I mentioned before, I'm choosing to diversify. I just think it's safe for both of us. And I'm also super intrigued, and I want to watch what the market chooses. If I have 3 platforms that are very similar but different, it's taking me a little bit of time. You know how you get stuck? I know how this one works. It's good for me too to diversify, but I'm really looking forward to sitting back and working them equally, doing things a little bit different on each and seeing what do the fans like? Which platform do they prefer? Which interface do they prefer? And for a few years, that's going to mean a few hours less sleep than I traditionally like, but it's so worth it, because when it comes to the platforms, it's really not about me. It is about my fans. It's about their communication, the way they want to communicate, the types of customs they want, the types of content they want, the sexting that they want. That is actually really fun for me. When I go out to LA or Vegas, the pro shoots it feels like it's about me. I get all glammed up and people, it's just awesome. The experience is awesome. When I get onto my platforms, it's fun because it's not about me. It's 100% about them. And again, that for me, that's that balance and that diversity. That's awesome. It's just fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. Do you think a cryptocurrency, like OnlyFans style platform, would solve problems happen in the adult industry today?
It's a really great question, and I would love, especially because of the people watching this are probably more like you in that they truly understand crypto. It's very exciting. It's moving fast. It's at this moment being decentralized and anonymous. Everything about it's really good right now. But like I had mentioned before, an unpopular stance is that my concern about the fact that the government, along with banking, could go, we're turning you off, whether it's by force or legislation, we can just boom, it can be gone. So once again, I find myself teetering between the two sides. It would appear that it would solve a problem. But again, I fear that there's that issue that there aren't that many people in the grand scheme of the 350 million people that are here looking at our content that don't have crypto and or have invested in it like myself, but haven't purchased it as a way to buy and sell things. So it's gonna, again, I'd have to go with the fact that, do I believe it's going to happen? Yes, but I think it might be a little bit of a rocky road percentage wise from the people who utilize it for currency, and whether or not it stays a free form of currency or it becomes owned.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, one problem that it solves is that, a credit card company or a bank couldn't shut it down.
Not right now. That's true.
Not right now,
I agree.
at least not yet. And hopefully they don't ever actually get the ability to do that. I'm going to be really concerned about that if once that really starts going down, or if that does, if they really try to shut crypto down, like, that's all bad.
And again, it'll be interesting to watch, because we're watching what's happening with Coinbase, and it's not growing without reason, and it's not being stopped. Right. So we're watching this and you're thinking, okay, well, there's some sort of protection there. What's going on?
Right.
It's being allowed to grow. It's not being shut down or taken over. But history would show us that anytime there's something that looks really, really good, there's the potential for it to be snagged. So that's my only concern. What's happening in the adult realm with crypto is very, very exciting. I do hope, though, that we're able to get more people not just invested, but learning how to utilize the crypto wallet. I mean, for me, that's even going to be key.
Yes, absolutely. And I agree. Before we really have, we can't have mass adaptation yet, because we need more people, using the systems and knowing how to use the systems. And, I know, at least for us at xxNifty, a big part of what we do offer our creators is support and getting started, in crypto. And we're working on creating learning materials so that your creators can, share with their fans, or easily be like, hey, this is how you can get in.
And with anything new, that's the key. I mean, with the new product, how do we learn about it if we don't know what it is? Massive marketing. And there's always that learning curve. And whether that's people sitting in a store showing people, here's how this new shoelace works, and actually shows you. Crypto's in that same stage of, a bunch of us are sitting there going, it's pretty cool. I think I like it, but I don't get it. And we will get it if we're informed. And you're doing a great job. I mean, conversation with you is like, okay, this girl totally gets it. Maybe I could give her a call and you could walk me through it. And then I, in turn, talk to a friend and walk them through it. It's just going to be a process.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of people already into crypto who are super excited to support the adult arts. So yeah, we'll work through that process. And I will tell you, though, one of the things that only in crypto at these times, I sold a piece of art. I make physical art other than paintings, and I have this piece of art. It's of my butthole, and it's like an artistic butthole piece. It's amazing, right? But I sold it for cryptocurrency, and when I sold it was $400. And when a month later, I keep an eye on my tokens and watch the prices, it was at $4,000.
You have a $4,000 butthole. That is awesome.
I do. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. So what I did is I took some of that, which I had made, and I put it into what's called a stable coin. So a stable coin is one coin is $1. So that was I was like, the price is probably going to go back down some. I think I might have just caught the top there, which is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and just capture that, because that paid my bills for about 2 months. And I'm like, wow, it's just really made my life a lot easier.
Aside from being a content creator and an artist, people individuals like yourself that understand the highs and lows and the shifting the currencies. You guys are also day traders. It's unbelievable the opportunities, if you're willing to learn it, that you have, the skill set that you now have. Usually you don't think of an artist as being a Wall Street trader, but you are.
I know whenever I tell my like, close friends or old friends and family that I'm into crypto, and they're like, you hate money. And I'm like, I know, but for some reason, this system just makes way more sense to me. I don't know. So there was a lot of plunking around, but I'm very stubborn when it comes to like learning things. I'm like, oh no, like if this person can do it, then I can do it. I'm going to figure it out.
I respect that.
All right, so we have about 10 more minutes and we have one more question. So the last question today, is there anything that you'd like to promote, like your own stuff that you have going on? Anything that you would like to tell our audience about?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. As you can see, I am a little bit like a newborn giraffe when it comes to crypto. I'm a little wobbly and I'm still learning, but very open to it. And I'm very excited to see where this goes in regards to what we do together. You can always, thank God, I'm still on OnlyFans. You can reach me pretty much anytime at onlybrandi.com. One of my new platforms, or newish, I've been working on it for about a year, is meetbrandi.com, which is the fan sort of platform. Always improving, always changing. I'm having a blast over there. And the best thing of all, to make sure that you hit up handybrandi.com, pick up my fleshlight before you join me on one of my platforms. That's the way to experience that.
Nice. It sounds like you have a lot going on, but after 17 years though, and you're still this dedicated and passionate and hardworking, like that's so inspiring.
Well, it's beautiful because, again, my personality, when there's a shiny new toy, I like to play with it. And when OnlyFans came out, that's what it was like. It was a little nerve-wracking because I'm like, wait, what? I've been shooting pro scenes. That's what I do. And the solo model site went away and everybody was on there. And within a week of learning it, just diving in there and being on there 14 hours a day, total obsession. And when the pandemic hit, obviously everybody suffered. And it was like, that's when I joined OnlyFans. And I swear to God, it was very beneficial to my mental health and to many of my fans, because we're all locked down, yet we're having these amazing conversations. I was doing live sessions with the groups. There'd be 200 people in the room and we're just having these awesome, again, the connection aspect of these new platforms. So it's in many ways, I'm so grateful for it. And again, fingers crossed that it stays. However, the diversifying into like Meet Brandi and obviously social media, my Brandi_Love on Twitter, still hoping to get my Instagram back. They disabled me a few months ago for apparently an offensive picture of me holding my dog. Anyway, lovely. Yeah, lovely. So hopefully I get that back. And but yeah. So those are the places to find me for the most part. But anytime something new pops up, I usually jump at an opportunity to do something new. So you never know where you'll see me.
Well, hopefully we get some Brandi Love NFTs, because again, that is like our collectors love that, like, connection with the creators. And I'm so glad that I had been into NFTs and I had that crypto saved, because now that, if OnlyFans does move us out, like I just feel like so much more secure that
You've got a plan. You've got a plan.
I got a plan. So yeah, NFTs as a way to just kind of, diversify and just do something creative with it too. I'm so excited about all of that.
I'm very excited for mine to come out, no doubt about it. I'm still tweaking them. This is where that artist side comes out. You're like, oh, it's just a little, because it's one. It's unique, it's rare. And that, I don't know, there's something about that that's super exciting.
Yeah, and you can also use your NFTs to like revisit or reinvent like old content. So I did like a series where I kind of pulled out like some of my older photos, like from the first year, of doing this work. And, I created these collages and stuff, and it allowed me to like tell the story of it. And so that was really fun. I was able to write a blog and, and it would help me to revisit that, that part of my life as well, and kind of turn it into something new. So
very cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brandi Love, for joining me today. I really enjoyed this conversation very much. If you ever want to learn more about crypto or need any help with NFTs, you know where to find me. It's just like so passionate about it. This is what I do. Make sure you guys check out Brandi Love's sites, follow her on Twitter. And check out xxNifty. Make sure you check out xxNifty on Twitter. Join our Telegram. We have a very nice and welcoming community. They're always so active and so kind, and everyone's always saying good morning and good night to each other. And it's just such a nice place to be and a good place to connect with the creators on xxNifty. They're also so active in there. I feel like no other space is you get such a community where you actually have that kind of direct access to all the creators in that way. xxNifty just released version 2 of the site, which is very exciting. So tomorrow there's going to be over 500 unique exclusive adult NFTs on xxNifty, which could possibly be the largest collection of adult NFTs to date. So congratulations to the xxNifty team for getting that rolled out. It's been looking amazing. You can check out the NSFW token. That is our native token for xxNifty. You can use those tokens to buy NFTs on the site, or you can just hold them and save them and, enjoy watching your investment go up. It's just such a solid team. I expect nothing but good things and growth from here. And one last thing, also in the works with xxNifty is a crypto-enabled adult content site similar to OnlyFans. It's called Pleasurely. They are currently developing that out. And so look for that coming soon. And again, this is like all the work that we do at xxNifty is about creator forward. So they're looking, for creators to also help give feedback about like, what is it that you're looking for in your site and things like that. So thank you all again so much for joining. I'm Polyannie. Thank you, Brandi Love. You all enjoy.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right.